What's up, Squad? It's your Squid. I've thrown together this video really quick, much like the other day with the Anthony Albanese video, because the Labor Party won. They're in government. I'm really stoked. Penny Wong is the Deputy Prime Minister now, and not enough people know who she is. Despite consistent Goebbels-level propagandising by the Murdoch press in Australia, the Labor Party have formed government, and Penny Wong will be the Deputy Prime Minister. I am happy. I've thrown together this video real quick, and so instead of seeing me balding and all that, leaning down, reading a script, you're going to see a bunch of landscapes and all that sort of stuff. So forgive me for that, but Australia has finally voted out the most corrupt government in its history, and I'm stoked. By a happy coincidence, the Australian people have elected what I predict will be the most measuredly progressive government in Australia's history. But I don't think that was by design. You only have to look at the spread of independents and Greens across both houses of Parliament to see that this election was about removing Scott Morrison's stranglehold from power, not about endorsing the Labor Party to develop their own. While I am positive that the everyday, regular, so-called quiet Australians would fall in love with Penny Wong and Anthony Albanese had they been afforded the same level of press that the Liberal and National parties were, the fact is they weren't, and so for a lot of people watching this video will be the first time they've specifically learnt anything about Penny Wong. Strap yourselves in for this one, guys, because if you thought the outraged crazies didn't like Anthony Albanese because he was seen to be too socially left-leaning, why don't we analyse what they say about his deputy, who, truth be told, holds most of the same positions, but also happens to be a woman who is a lesbian and who is of Malaysian descent on top of that. Let's get right into it. A day after being sworn in as Australia's first foreign-born foreign minister, Penny Wong was thrown straight into the diplomatic fray on Tuesday as she accompanied new Prime Minister Anthony Albanese to the Quad Summit in Tokyo, which for those that don't know is a meeting of the leaders of four nations, India, Japan, the USA and Australia, where they discuss key strategic plans for the Pacific region and make diplomatic arrangements accordingly. Wong brings a lot of experience to the role, having previously served as Climate and Finance Minister and as a shadow Foreign Minister since 2016. Penny Wong was born in 1968 in the Malaysian part of Borneo to an Australian-born mother and Chinese-Malaysian father. After her parents split up, she moved with her mother and younger brother to Adelaide in South Australia at the age of 8. Growing up in 1970s Australia, as the country was opening up to more non-European migrants, especially refugees from Vietnam, given the global context at the time, Wong experienced racial discrimination and bullying. She often faced verbal attacks, and she saw anti-Asian slogans painted outside their home. A strong sense of injustice drove her to outperform her classmates in academic subjects and on the sporting field. She managed to get a scholarship to Scotch College in Adelaide, one of the most prestigious schools in the country. Wong first sought a career in medicine, but after spending a year at hospitals in Brazil on a volunteer exchange program, she realised she was not cut out for dealing with death and blood. She switched her major from medicine to law and arts at the University of Adelaide and graduated with honours in 1992. After working for a trade union and the local government, she was elected to the Senate for the Australian Labor Party in 2001. In her maiden speech in Parliament the following year, she criticised Prime Minister John Howard's use of race as a political issue. For those regular subscribers to the channel, this was right around the time that Howard was amping up his anti-Muslim rhetoric in the hopes of a terror-based boost in the polls, mimicking his mate George Bush from over here in the States, but I'm getting off track. Penny Wong is the country's first openly gay female national politician, and she was instrumental in legalising same-sex marriage in Australia in 2017. She broke down in tears when the result of the referendum on marriage equality was announced. She lives with her partner, and they're raising two daughters together. In 2007, Labor Prime Minister Kevin Rudd appointed Wong as Minister for Climate Change and Water, making her the first Australian cabinet member to be born in Asia, as well as the first Australian Minister for Climate Change. Yes, you heard me right. She was Minister for Climate Change way back in 2007, and as a nation we have done absolutely sweet fuck all in regards to that entire topic of discussion since then. We'd be a world leader if we attempted to utilise the outback for its solar power potential back then, as Wong had wanted, but as with anything from the 2007-2013 period, she was sadly hamstrung by the ineptitude of Rudd and Gillard, and then had to deal with the Conservative blowback in the years Abbott, Turnbull and Morrison were in power. Wong was the Australian minister who went to Bali, Indonesia to ratify the Kyoto Protocol on Australia's behalf in the months following their election last time. She was appointed as Finance Minister in 2010, going on to serve as Labor's Senate leader when the Conservative Liberal National Coalition took power in 2013. From 2016 until just the other day when they won power, Wong had been the shadow Foreign Affairs Minister. She used her role to attack the government of Prime Minister Scott Morrison over his handling of key diplomatic relationships, most notably the reneged French submarine deal that resulted in French President Emmanuel Macron publicly calling Scott Morrison a liar. And in case you didn't catch that when it happened, I'm going to throw it in front of you now.
I have a lot of respect for your country. I have a lot of respect and a lot of friendship for your people. I just say when we have respect, you have to be true and you have to behave in line and consistently with this value.
Do you think he lied to you?
I don't think. I know.
Like, there are no words, right? If you're not into politics, I just want to say, for a president to be that public in his disdain for another diplomat at a world meeting of leaders, like, it's worse than embarrassing on a global stage. A Roy Morgan survey of 1,409 Australians in March of this year found that Wong was the most trusted politician in Australia. The exact same poll, which polled the exact same people, showed that Scott Morrison was the least trusted. I wonder how his Conservative church buddies feel that a lesbian woman of Asian descent fucking smashed him in terms of the popular vote. Low-key, I hope it bubbles inside them and they boil from it, I'm just saying. On her first day as Foreign Minister, Wong posted a video to Twitter directed at Pacific nations, which I'll play at the end of this video. The nations in the Pacific region have had a tumultuous relationship with Australia of late, not just due to the nature of them being used as a pawn in our abhorrent asylum seeker policies, but also because of the flippant and non-existent approach to climate change on Australia's part and the downright offensive approach to it that the Liberal Party has had when it comes to collaboration in our region. Don't forget, it was only in 2015 that the man touted right now as one who is about to take over Liberal leadership, Peter Dutton, joked while being recorded on a hot mic that time was irrelevant anymore for Pacific Island nations because water was about to be lapping at their doors anyway. Like, if you thought ScoMo was a cunt, I've got news for you, and it only gets blue wafflier from here. As a politician, Peter Dutton makes a fucking good police officer, and he resigned from policing prior to going into politics because he was as corrupt as they come and about to get caught. And, just saying, he threatens any and all Australians who mention that with a defamation lawsuit because they don't have free speech back home like they do here. But I am an Australian American, and I'm making this video from New York fucking state, with the First Amendment protecting me and my balls of steel. So fucking sue me, you bald, corrupt, beta cunt. I'll use the truth as a defense, and I'll if/when that doesn't work, I'll use my newfound nation's constitution and First Amendment, you absolute fuck-knuckling pond scum. But anyway, sorry about that, I got a bit distracted. I really hate Peter Dutton, in case you can't tell. Like, I genuinely wouldn't piss on the bloke to put him out if he was on fire, but that vitriol is absolutely matched when it comes to my love for Penny Wong, I promise. I honestly think she's going to make for the best Deputy Prime Minister we as Australians have ever had, just like Albo is going to be our best ever Prime Minister. And I hope I'm rallying around them, showing you how they did it in a few years' time. Like I promised, I'm going to leave you with this video of Wong addressing the nations of the Pacific, but just quickly, I'll also add, because this is YouTube, if you're still listening right now, do me a solid and click that like button, click the subscribe button, and leave me a comment saying grandfather clock, completely out of context, just to confuse the people who didn't watch the whole video till this point. I'll see you when I look at your squad. You'll see me when you look at me. Thanks so much for watching.
Hello, my name is Penny Wong and I've just had the great honour of being sworn in as Australia's Foreign Minister. I look forward to visiting the Pacific soon, but the first thing I wanted to do after being sworn in is to share a few thoughts with our Pacific family. I've become Foreign Minister at a time when our region faces unprecedented challenges, but we will face these challenges together and we will achieve our shared aspirations together. We want to help build a stronger Pacific family. That is why we will do more, but we will also do it better. We will listen because we care what the Pacific has to say. The Australian government knows that nothing is more central to the security and well-being of the Pacific than climate change. We've heard the Pacific and we will act, standing shoulder to shoulder with you as we address the climate crisis. We will also boost Australian assistance to support the region's pandemic recovery and deepen our defence and maritime cooperation. And we will work with the Pacific family to expand opportunities for Pacific workers in Australia and improve their working conditions. Currently, over 24,000 Pacific workers are here, contributing to vital Australian industries and sending money home to support their families, whilst gaining skills they can use when they return. We will also deliver a First Nations foreign policy that weaves the voices and practices of Australia's Indigenous peoples into our diplomacy and strengthens connections between First Nations peoples and the Blue Pacific. Our government is committed to being there for our Pacific family in times of need, as you have been there for us. We will be a generous, respectful and reliable member of the Pacific family. We know that together we can build a stronger future. I look forward to visiting very soon.